and I'm recording now. So let me share my screen. Hi, welcome everyone. What you see here on this page is the lesson terminating and repeating decimals. So let's get right to it. Let me do my annotations. And I'll give you time to write the title, which, like I said, it is terminating and repeating decimals. Talia is here. Oops, I should have said that. Okay, so terminating and repeating decimals. Let me change my attendance. Okay, and we have the question is, you don't have to write this question. Simply, I'll tell you when to write. Write the title, terminating and repeating decimals, okay? Carla says that 5/6 is greater than 0.8. Is she correct? So what a fraction is, it says it right here. I'm gonna spotlight it. Fraction is a division, right? Fraction is a division. So in a fraction, the division is in over out. Do copy this, in over out. And so if we have 5/6, out is the 6, in goes the 5. And after we divide, we need to see if this is going to be equal, greater than, or less than 0.8, period. Somebody else is joining the class. Let me not mark an absent.
Sorry, mister, I put the wrong class.
It's okay. We're just starting. What you need to write as quickly as you can is terminating and repeating decimals. That's the title. And just what I wrote in ink, in over out. So it's a fraction 5/6. And then we need to divide that. So I'm gonna make a pause. Okay, Sergio, you copied?
Yes, mister.
Okay, thank you. Now I cannot find the balance for this. Maybe the other way. Okay, that's close enough. So terminating and repeating decimals. And we need to find out if 5/6, how does it compare to 0.8? How does it compare to 0.8? Okay, so in over out means 6 into 5. So now watch first and then copy. This is what I say. 6 goes into 5 0 times. So we need a decimal point. When I put a decimal point, I can turn this into a 50. And now 6, those go into 50. Let me see, 6 times, let me try this out loud. You can say 6 times 6 is 36, that's too much. 6 times 9 is 54, I went over. So I'm gonna go with 8, because 9 I just went over. So 6 times 8 is, so it looks like it is the same, but we're not done. 6 times 8 is 48. Now we subtract, but guess what? We have a 2. So because my zeros are free, I go with 0, and 6 goes into 23 times. When I take away 18, I'm going to get a 2 again. So I need you to see what the pattern repeating. I have a 2 here that I turn into a 0. 20, I mean, by adding a 0. And so I have another 2 here, which I'm going to add a 0 because they're free after a decimal point. So I have a 20 again. So this is going to repeat. I'm going to subtract 18, and I'm going to get 2 again, and so on and so forth. So this decimal is repeating, right? So 0.8. And I am going to put the number 3 only on top of the 3 because the 8 does not repeat. The 8 is only here one time. Whereas this one, 0.8, is what we call terminating, which means to end. It ends right at the end, right at the 8. There's nothing after the 8. So terminating decimals, like I said, after the decimal point, you can always add a 0 to compare. After this decimal point, the zeros are free on the right. So this is 80 cents. And this is 83 cents plus 3/10 of a cent. So if we simply round up, this is about 83 cents, but this is about 80 cents. So 5/6 is greater than just 0.8. So Carla is correct. All right. Now I'm going to pause. That way you can copy what you need to copy. While you copy, let me say what a terminating decimal is. One that ends. It doesn't go on forever. It just ends at 0.8, or if you wanted to, we can make it 0.80 and that's it. It ends right there. That's a terminating decimal. The other one is 0.8333, and the 3 never ends. So that's what they call repeating, because the number 3 repeats. That's as easy as that. The 3 repeats and doesn't end. The 8 ends and doesn't repeat on the left side. So let me fix this so that I can erase this. Hopefully you had done that. If not, you know that the answer to 6 divided into 50, or 50 divided by 6, 5 divided by 6, I should say, is 0.833 repeated. So the answer is that it is greater. It is greater. Okay, so I think I could erase now. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Here, what we need to do is simplify these fractions. 11 over 16 is not simplified, but 9 over 18. 9 over 18, if I divide both of this by 9, both top and bottom, what is 9 divided by 9?
1,
And 18 divided by 9,
9.
you meant 2.
Oh, yeah, I meant
18 divided by 9 is 2. 1 over 2 is the same as 1/2. Look, here it is. 1 over 2 as a decimal is 0.5. So this is terminating. 3 over 9, C, will simplify. If we divide both sides by 3, top and bottom, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So this turns into 1 over 3. And as you know, this goes into 0.3333. So this is repeating. Does somebody remember what 1 over 4 is as a decimal?
0.4.
1 over 4 is 1/4. So I'm asking, how many cents is 1/4? If you have a quarter
25.
coin, yes, 25. So 0.25. Terminating. It doesn't repeat, it stops. All right. 1 over 5. So look at my hand. If you can look at my video. Let's say that this is 1 unit, my hand, and it's worth $1, 100 pennies. I hope it's worth more. I don't want to lose it and I get $1 back. But if I had to divide this dollar, which is my hand, which is again, then I can divide it into 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 pennies or $1. Okay. So if I get 1 of the 5, that's 20 cents. All right. So right here on the 1 over 5 is 0.20. What if I write 0.2? Am I still mathematically correct? I'm saying 2 dimes. Is 2 dimes the same as 20 cents? Yes, no, maybe? How many cents is 2 dimes? How many cents is 1 dime? The little
10.
coin. Huh?
10.
10,
10. 1 dime is 10, so 2 dimes is 20.
20.
So yeah, so this is 2 dimes. When we have decimals, and this is important to remember, if we're using money, the first spot is the dimes. That's the first decimal place, which of course we know as tenth. So 1/10 of a dollar is a dime. They're the same thing. So that was space 1, right? I have the 0, I have my decimal point, and the first spot is the dimes. So here I have 2 dimes. The second one is the pennies or hundreds. So let me be consistent, pennies. So to write 5 cents or 5 pennies, I would have to have, I don't have a dollar. I don't even have a dime. What I have is 5 cents. So this is equal to 5 cents or 5 pennies. And of course, as far as the next category, this is the hundredth. Because 100th of a dollar is 1 cent, which is 1 penny. Same words, synonyms. Hundredth, cent. Hundred sounds like the English hundred, right? Because there's 100 pennies in a dollar. Where do you think cent? How do you say 100 in Spanish?
100.
Cien. So it sounds like cent. It's the same root, right? So cent is from the Latin root for 100. And then penny, I don't know where that came from. Okay, so, all right, so you don't have to copy all that, just copy the fractions right here. 1/2 is 0.5, 1/3 is 0.3 repeating, and 1/5 is 0.2. And 1/6, you don't have to do the division. I'll do that for you while you copy the little table so we don't waste time. 1/6 is in over out. So out is the 6, in goes the 1, and I say 6 goes into 1. It doesn't fit, so 0 times my decimal point gives me all the free zeros later. And 6 does fit into 10 one time. 6 times 1 is 6. 4, free 0. 6 times 6 is 36. 36, sorry, 36. I can just erase that. So I'm going to subtract 36. But I can see what's going to happen. 40 minus 36 is 4 again. So the pattern continues. So my answer is 0.16 repeating. Okay. So 0 point is about 17 cents, but not quite 17 cents. It's 16, but the 6 repeats. So this is a repeating decimal, and this is a terminating decimal. So what we write here is 0.3 and 0.16 are repeating, or just are. And the other ones, which is 0.5, 0.20, or 0.2, let's be correct, and 0.25, they are T. They are terminating. So you don't have to copy my little division. That was for you to save time copying the table. So just copy. You don't even have to copy this down here. All you have to copy is the table. And after the table, let's put, first let me change this hideous color. Yeah, hang on. Finish copying the table and just write T for terminating or R for repeating under the decimals. Okay, I'll be right back.
Mister, you're on mute.
Thank you. Always tell me if I'm on mute, because then it's like when you are, when you're like on the phone and the other person, something happened to the phone and they accidentally hung up or the connection got lost and you keep talking.
Yeah, what happens to me?
It's the same thing. Okay, so let's check your answers. Under the 1/3, I hope you put an R because that is repeating. There is a bar in here. Maybe it wasn't seen, but it's now before. This would be, sorry, the half is terminating. A fourth is terminating. This is terminating, and this is repeating because the 6 goes on forever. Okay, so let me clear. And let me see if there's anything else. Okay, these are more questions. Okay, so a fraction, let's look at 8 here. Let's look at 8, 6/8. We already did it. A fraction that is repeating decimal between 0.25 and 0.5. It's on the table. Which fraction is that? Look at the fraction of the table and tell me which one is close to 33 cents. Okay, let me give you another clue. 0.3 repeating means 0.33 repeating. So that's 33 cents. That's between 25 cents and 50 cents. So which fraction is that? Anyone? Leslie?
1/3.
1/3, thank you. 1/3. A fraction that is a repeating decimal between 0.5 and 1. I think we did that. The one that was 0.883 cents, just about 83, but the 3 was repeating. What fraction was that? From the example.
5/6.
5/6, thank you. A fraction that is a terminating decimal between 125 and 1.5. Well, I already know that 33 is repeating, but I just need to add a 1. So if I add 1 and 1/3 and turn it into an improper fraction, 1/3 is the 0.33 repeating. So let me turn this into an improper fraction. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So the fraction 4/3 is going to be equal to 1.33 repeating, and this is higher than 25 cents, but lower than 150. So nobody said you couldn't use an improper fraction. So that's fine. You don't have to copy those. We just wanted to think together, okay? So let me clear this. Let me stop sharing and let me move on to the last part of the lesson. Hold on, let me type a message. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna mute myself and I'll be back. Okay, guys, thank you for waiting. And thank you to those who sent me the text. So let me share this new screen. We only have a couple more problems to do. So let's get to it. Okay, let's look at number 5. All right, and then let me read it. So read silently as I go out loud. Okay, Justin earned $25.67 one week and $37.85 the next week. So this is earnings. Are they pluses or minuses? Are they gonna be positive numbers or negative if it's money I make?
Positive.
Positive.
Yes. Thank you. But then Justin also bought or purchased a DVD for $19.99. If I buy a DVD and I spend money, how do I write that for me? As a negative or as a positive? Is it money going in or money going out?
Going in.
Going in.
No, money goes out of your account because you was coming in as a DVD, but you're paying $19.99. So now whatever money you had, you're minus $19.99 because you bought a DVD, right? The money I earned from working 1 week, it's money coming into my account in the bank or in my card or in my virtual whatever, wherever it is, money earned is positive. Money spent has to be negative, otherwise I'm not gonna know what my balance is. Okay, so he bought DVD for $19.99, and now he also bought gas for $22.07. Okay. So is the 2207, do I need to add that to my balance or take it away from my balance? It's a 50-50, somebody guess. Is money going out of my account? So do I need to subtract it from what's in my account or do I need to add to it?
You need to subtract.
Subtract, yes, thank you. So then it says that Justin recorded all of these transactions in his checkbook and ended up with a balance of 105. If not, find the correct balance. So let's do estimation, okay, to make it easier on the decimals. So 25, let's round it to the next whole dollar. I'm gonna say that's $26 positive, right? And then he earned 37, approximately $38. On the second week. His account balance before that was at 0. So we begin with 0 and then we're gonna add the 26, we're gonna add the 38, and then he spends on the DVD, I think it was $19.99. So let's do that as a 20. And 2207, let's round that as a 22. Rounding up or down. Okay, so I think it's easier if I add the blues. If I add the blue numbers first, I can add the red numbers next. They're in the same team. The blue team and the red team, guys, integers. So 26 plus 38. I want it in blue though. 8 and 6 is 14. I want it in blue though. 8 and 6 is 14. So 64. And I'm taking away, so I already know that this answer is incorrect because the most I have is 64, and then I'm gonna take away my expenses because that's the money that went in as money I made. Let's say I'm Justin. So I made about $64, but how much did I spend? Approximately. Well, I spent $20 and then I spent 22. So I'm going to place all team members together, right? So this is 42 that I spent. If I spend 20 on the DVD and 22 on gas, Am I not spending 42 altogether?
Yes.
Yes. So what's left on my bank, if all the money went to my bank and all the money came out of my bank account in this case, then should I just do 64 minus 42? Okay, it's red now. I don't want it to be red. So blue. No blue yet. I don't know why it doesn't take. Okay, there it is. Okay, so 64, which was my positive numbers, my blue team altogether. And then I'm gonna take away the 42 in expenses approximately. And I should be left with how much money? First of all, did I go over or do I cover?
You cover.
I cover, yes, because 42 is not quite as much as 64. So my answer is gonna be in blue. 4 minus 2 is 2, and 6 minus 4 is 2. So this is, I should approximately have $22. Okay. Your assignment is going to be to do it exactly with the cents. I did the approximation for you, but as soon as I do my other example, I'm gonna let you go, and this is your assignment, will be to do this. So because I'm gonna let you go, you're not going to have this amount. So you don't need to write this down. That was just, the approximation is 22. So what you need to do is the following. You need to add 25.67 plus 37.85. Exactly with the exact pennies and everything. After you get that sum, this is going to be equal to a sum, right? Sum means adding two things or more together. That's your sum, 25.67 plus 37.85. To that amount, which is 60 something, if I remember correctly, you're gonna take away 19.99 exactly, and you're gonna get a subtotal, right? When you take the first half, you're gonna get something like, if it was 60 something minus 20, you're gonna have 40 something. At this subtotal, what you get from subtracting the first amount is a subtotal. To that subtotal, whatever that number is, you're going to subtract the second expense, the gas. You're going to subtract 22.07. So this is the setup. All right. If you want it here, I'll do it here as well. You're going to add, you can start with the bigger number, 37.85 plus 25.67. I'm giving you time to write. You don't have to copy it twice. And then you're gonna take away 2207. And then you're gonna take away 1999. And what is your total? You're gonna give me that answer on Wednesday. So let me know if you copy the four amounts. All you need to do is copy the two positive amounts and the two negative amounts, and we're good to go to the last example so we can close. You can then take your break and work on this problem by hand, hopefully no calculators. I can't supervise that, but please. Let me know if I can move on to my last example. Yes, no, maybe. Erase. I don't know. Okay, I am erasing, yes?
Yes.
Finally, thank you. Okay. Now they want us to do problem with fractions, so I'm gonna pick one that's not okay. This will leave it as an estimation. Okay. We're gonna do this together. So okay, so it says here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it says here that we can use rounding and a number line to help you estimate the answer. So you see 9 and 5 over 6, that's close to 10. Negative 3 and 1, 4. 1, 4 is closer, 3.25. This could be negative 3.25. That's closer than 3 than it is to 4. So that's why you see the negative 3 there. Okay, but let's read the problem. So we have 10 and a negative 3. Doesn't mean that the answer is 7 though, because we don't know if we're adding that negative or subtracting that negative. So let's read. A high diving board is about 10 feet. We decided this was gonna be 10. Is about 10 feet above the water surface. So let's draw that. So we have water surface right here. Water. Go ahead and draw this. And then let's draw the number line up and down. And here is my diving board. So diving board. Diving B is understood. And it's at 10 feet, just about. You know, there's 10 in there. All right. My water level is, sea level is 0. So the person jumps from here, from this point, and they start to dive down. And he ends up about 3 feet below. So can a diver like somehow stop here in midair at number 3 and never hit the water? Not being Superman or any superhero? Or will a human being hit the water? Leslie? Sergio. Alejandro? Leslie?
Yes, mister.
So, I know
Yes.
that. Can a diver stop in midair at 3 feet above the water?
No.
No. We need to hit the water, but then does the diver stop right at the water, or does he actually go under a little bit?
He stops at the water.
He stops at the water, but if he's diving, let's say he goes hands first, then head first, will his feet be inside the water as well?
Yes.
Yes. So that means that his head and his feet went below the water. And it tells us right here that where he stops is at -3. That means 3 feet under. Okay. So -1, which makes sense because the person may be almost 2 feet tall. What am I saying? 2 feet. That's short. Like the head and the hands are gonna be over 2 feet, but he stops here somewhere in here at about 3 feet. Is that understood? So the distance from the jump is, as they tell you, from where he first jumped until he stops going underwater right here. Okay? This is the stopping point from the dive, sorry. Okay. Of course, the swimmer can like swim and do other things, but there's some point where the water gives enough resistance for the diver to stop. And they tell us that it's at about 3 feet under, which is a -3 feet. So what they're asking is, what is the total distance of the jump? Which means if you start at 10 feet high and end up at 3 feet under, what is the length of this line is what they're saying. How many feet is this line? Well, I'll help you out. How many feet is from 0 to 10 or from 10 to 0? Let's do this segment first. Okay, so as soon as his head hits the water, he has gone down 10 feet, correct? Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. 10 feet here, but he didn't stop there. We agreed that his head went under and maybe even his feet, I don't know. But his head was at the stopping point right here, 3 feet under. So the line is not only this 10 feet, but it's also 3 feet longer, right? So this is what I need you to write. I need you to write 10 minus a -3. That turns into 10 plus 3, because clearly we have 10 feet from top to the beginning of the water, and then he goes underwater another 3 feet, so that's 10 feet. This is 3 more feet. How long is my now black line? How long is it? If I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
10 and a -3.
11, 12,
13. 13.
13, right, which is what is here, 10 plus 3, which is what happens when you subtract a negative. 2 negatives make a positive. So the answer is 13.
Yes, Mr. Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, you can see it visually that if I subtract 10, if I subtract 10, take away 3, or I'm going to get 7, and there's no way that the diver stopped at 7 feet high. Not unless there was another board here, which there isn't. So you can see the length of the dive, which is at least 10, plus however many feet they go under. So to write it as integers and not mess with the fractions, whole numbers, the distance is calculating by subtracting 10 minus the ending point, which is a -3. And then what happens here is that when we have two negative signs and a parenthesis, remember parenthesis means multiplication. So a negative times a negative gives me a positive. And notice how this is, the more I bold the negative signs, it looks like a T, but it's also turning into a positive. But again, a negative parenthesis a negative means negative times a negative. Multiplication rule says a negative times a negative gives me a positive. So I end up with 10 plus 3, which is 13, and hopefully you can see that visually here. You can see that from the diving board to the beginning of the water is 10, but then he goes under 3 more feet, so he goes 13. Is that clear or somewhat clear? Good, good. So are there any questions? You can chat, type, or speak. Any questions? Let me clear this, all this nonsense. Let me stop sharing that. All right, and now let me share my board. Just so that it's clear what we needed to write. If you already wrote it, more power to you. So this is finding the distance. Which means to find the distance, we subtract between 10. So this is what you write. Find the distance between 10 and negative 3, because he went under 3 feet. It's not up in the air 3 feet. It's underwater 3 feet. So find distance means subtract. Subtract means, let me make this clear here. If I have here subtract, then I need to subtract. What two numbers am I subtracting? I'm subtracting 10. Subtract from finding distance, and the other number is already a negative. So I don't just like take a shortcut and skip this negative sign. I keep it like that. Then we know that this turns into 10 plus 3. So the distance between 10 and negative 3 is equal to 13. And finally, I'm going to prove it to you. Look at that horrible non-straight line. I'm going to prove it to you the number line way. If my 0 is here, this is negative 1, this is negative 2, this is negative 3. What is my distance from 10 to negative 3, or from negative 3 all the way to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I barely made it with my line, and 10. So if I count the spaces between one spot and the next, I should be able to count 13 spaces. So this is my starting point, doesn't count. So I'm going to count, maybe I should count in blue. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I was hoping I did it right. And 13. So let's count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not count. This is not the numbers on the number line. This is my number of spaces I'm counting. And all total, I have until the number 10, I have 13. Obviously, the number line numbers are different, so I don't want to confuse anybody. This is a negative 2 for the number line. This is a negative 3 for the number line. And then we have 1, 2, 3. So these are my numbers, and these are my on the number line, and the blue are the counting numbers. Okay, so the distance between 10 positive and negative 3, or if you want, I'm going to say from negative 3 to 10 to positive 10 on the number line. On the number line. Okay, so if you already had it some other way, you don't have to have it exactly like this. I'm going to post this meeting anyway in a video, so you will have it. I will send you a link through Teams. If there are any questions, I'm gonna stop sharing right now. I'm gonna stop recording too, unless there are any final questions. Otherwise, take a break, and then you know your assignment. You had it. It was adding all those decimals and subtracting from the money earned and the DVD bought and the gas bought. Questions, comments?
Mister, I just have to say, when I was here on what's it called, Wednesday, I think
Mm-hmm.
you marked me absent because they called my mom saying that I didn't go to class.
Yeah, what I do is that they have to call in the morning, but what I do is, like, let's say you're present now, I send the, okay, hold on. Let me, okay. Okay, let me stop the recording.